guys, welcome back to my channel. I first want to start off by saying I'm sorry I've not posted in kind of a while. I was just taking a bit of a break and actually making bracelets for fun, because usually I make bracelets just for all my videos that I do. So I actually am making bracelets for myself. So I made a ton and I've been posting them on my Instagram, so if you guys want to see what I've been making, then you can just go ahead and follow me on there. But today we are doing this little mini arrowhead design. This is the pattern I'm using. It is number 29341 on Bracelet Book. The creator of it is Zanitary. I am leaving their links down below if you guys want to check out their Instagram. They have really awesome bracelets on there. This bracelet is kind of advanced intermediate. It's really simple the way you make it. It's just you need to know the 4 different kinds of knots to make it. So if you know how to do the 4 different kinds of knots, you're good to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into the video. To make this bracelet, as always, you're going to need some embroidery floss, and you're going to go ahead and pick out 5 colors you want to use. I'm using variations of oranges and pinks. And go ahead and cut 1 string at a wingspan's length for each color, so each color should have its own string, and you're just going to have 5 strings in total. And just go ahead and fold those in half so that the ends meet, and at the other end there is a loop so you can start your bracelet. From here, you can start your bracelet however you want. I have more in-depth videos on how to do this if you are confused, and they are linked in the description box. Once your bracelet is started and taped down, this is how your strings should be set up. They should just be a mirror image of each other in whatever order you want them to be in. Just make sure it's mirrored on both sides. So this is a pattern I'm going to be using. It is a 1-2 pattern, however, I'm going to do this tutorial in segment knots. So instead of going row by row, we're going to just do it in segments. So let me know if this is difficult for you guys or if this is easier to understand. But I'm still going to pair up my strings just to make it easier to explain this. So just go ahead and pair up all your strings. I'm going to start with my middle pair, and you can just connect these in any way you want. I'm going to just do a forward knot. Next, I'm going to focus on these 2 center pairs here, and I'm going to start on the left, and I'm going to just do some forward knots on the next 2 strings in line. And I'm going to do the same on the right side, taking the center pair and just doing backward knots on the next 2 strings in line. Your strings should be in the center now. They should be the same color, and you can just go ahead and do whatever knot you want to do to connect these. I am doing a forward knot. Next, I'm only going to focus on these outer 2 pairs. I'm going to take the pair on the left, and I'm going to do forward knots on my first 3 strings in line. And then when I get to my 4th string in line, I'm going to do a forward backward knot. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, taking my very outer pair. I'm going to do backward knots on my first 3 strings in line. And then when I get to the 4th string in line, I'm going to do a backward forward knot. And again, you're going to take your pair in the middle and just join them in any way you want. I'm doing a forward knot. Next, I'm going to only focus on my outer 3 strings. First, taking my outer 2, I'm going to do a forward knot. Then using that same pink string, I'm going to go to my next string in line and do a forward backward knot. Then still using that same pink string, I'm going to grab my outer string and I'm going to do a backward forward knot. I did a backward knot here, I always mess up, but do a backward forward knot. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, only focusing on my outer 3 strings, but starting with my outer 2. Taking the outer string, I'm going to be doing a backward knot. Then using that same pink string, I'm going to go to my next string in line and do a backward forward knot. Then again, still using the same pink string, I'm going to grab my outer string now and do a forward backward knot. I did a forward knot, but do a forward backward. For the next step, I'm going to take my outer 2 strings on both sides and just leave them out, and I'm going to repair all of my strings. Starting with my pair on the left, I'm going to do a backward forward knot. Then using that same string still, I'm going to grab my next string in line, which is a string from the middle pair, and do a forward knot. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, taking my outer pair. I'm going to do a forward backward knot first. Then I'm going to grab the next string in line and do a backward knot. Now your strings in the middle should be the same color, so you can just join them with whatever knot you want. I'm doing a forward knot. For my next step, I'm going to take the second string in my outer pair, which is this pink one, and I'm going to just do forward knots until I get to the center. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, taking my second string from the outer string, if that makes sense, and just doing backward knots until I get to the center. It's basically just a chevron. And then of course your strings should be the same color in the center, so just go ahead and join them with whatever knot. I'm doing a backward knot here. And then now we're just going to basically do it like a chevron. I'm going to take my outer string on the left and just do forward knots down my line of strings until I get to the center. Then on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, taking my outer string, but doing backward knots down my entire line of strings until I get to the center. And then once you get to the center, your strings should be the same color. Just go ahead and join them with whatever knot you want. I am doing a forward knot. Next, I'm going to separate my strings in half and then start on the left side with just my outer 2 strings, and I'm going to be doing a forward knot. Then I'm going to leave out my outer string and grab my next string in line, which is this like peach color, and do a backward knot over the color I just did a knot with, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to use the same peach color to then grab my outer string and do another backward knot onto that. And then I'm going to do the same process again, grab my next string in line, which is this pink one, and do 2 backward knots over this like magenta color, and then the orange. Not the very outer one, just the next 2 strings next to it, if that makes any sense. Next, I'm going to take my 3 outer strings and just leave those off to the side, and then I'm going to take my middle 2 strings, which is the magenta and the yellow, and just do a forward knot. I'm going to do the same process on the other side, taking my outer 2 strings and doing a backward knot first. Then I'm going to take my next string in line and do 2 forward knots over the 2 strings that are next to it, which are just the magenta, and then the outer string, which is orange. Then I'm going to grab my next string in line, which is this pink, and I'm going to do 2 more forward knots over the 2 strings that are next to it, which are just the magenta and the orange, not the outer string. I'm going to leave those 3 outer strings out and just grab my 2 center strings and just do a backward knot. And that is the bracelet, so just go ahead and repeat this from step 1 and you have your bracelet. Let me know if the segment knotting was easier to follow than doing it row by row. I know it was definitely easier to explain row by row, but I can definitely do segment knotting if you guys prefer it. I will still leave the instructions row by row in the description box if you prefer it that way. Alright guys, so that was the tutorial. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Like I already mentioned before, let me know what you guys think about segment knotting and if it's easier to follow along or if it's harder. I feel like it's a little bit more difficult. Yes, but if you guys do like segment knotting, I can continue to do it this way in the future. Just let me know. As always, my social medias are all linked in the description box. You guys can follow me on all of those. And I will see you tomorrow for another new video. I love you guys. Bye.